Serbia. The Australian will serve to get us going here on Grandstand.
First set, Max Purcell to serve. Play. Love.
And there are those hands.
Yeah, and I think that's what Tommy Paul is going to look to expect as well. Just a few times when Max Purcell was serving volley, he'll serve and stay back. And you know, one thing his coach Brad Stein said he would tell Tommy is he's just got to be ready to pass. There's going to be a lot of passing shots in this match. Max Purcell is at a live ranking right now of 87 in the world. He's been as high as 40 in the world. So he's cracked that top 50 as you see Leighton Hewitt, Davis Cup captain, and also Max Purcell's coach Blav Kovcic from Slovenia. He's been as high as 100 in the world, has Blas.
Of course, Leighton, Hall of Famer, former world #1. And Max Purcell holds it there, and a semi-finalist in Australia. That coming back in late January 2023.
Tommy Paul to serve.
Able to speak with Brad Stein earlier today. He said, look, I'm just hopeful that Tommy brings a similar level as he did a couple nights ago against Sonego, and that he's the one pressuring Max Purcell, because Max Purcell will be looking to come forward. You want to beat him to the punch there. And he also just helps Tommy returns well and passes well. That'll convince Max not to come in so much.
You said Brad Stein calls him Tommy 5.0. What is he referring to there?
Look, I mean, every year as a coach, you're just wanting to develop your player more and more. And the 5.0 now is a more aggressive Tommy Paul, right? We know how athletic he is from behind the baseline and his defending skills, but now he's trying to get Tommy to come in a bit more, trust his ability at the net, and also use a bit more slice off the backhand.
Tommy was such a tremendous junior player. He won Roland Garros as a junior, and I think a lot of people thought his best surface was going to be clay as a pro.
Still wouldn't put it past him to do extremely well there in Roland Garros. Actually, before
that's Brad Stein, by the way.
Brad Stein there in the blue shirt. I was speaking with Jose Higueras during Roland Garros when Tommy Paul, after he won his second round, and Jose said, "Look, this guy could win the French Open," and he wouldn't put it past Tommy Paul. Jose's done a lot of work with Tommy, and again, the defensive skills he has, the athleticism, can win on all surfaces.
Jose knows a thing or two about watching and coaching great clay court players.
Coach Jim Courier, #1 in the world. Yeah. Decent player there, Jim.
Not bad.
Love of him.
There's another look at Brad Stein. Speaking of Jim Courier, another guy that Brad famously coached.
Yeah, Brad Stein from Fresno, California. That's where he resides, but always on the road with Tommy. Sitting next to Tommy's girlfriend, Paige Lorenz.
Also in the camp of Alex Mickelson, and there's Paige, who's got her own following, maybe even greater than Tommy's in the greater world.
Her own company, Dairy Boy, is doing extremely well
Last 30.
in the clothing industry. And that's where a lot of people have been serving Tommy Paul on second serves, is more to the forehand. He's got, as we take a look at Leighton Hewitt, 2001 champion here. Always helps to have a guy like that in your coaching box along with Blazkowicz. Tommy Paul's second serve, that his backhand return is so compact. He's able to get it on you quickly. So on second serves, a lot of guys have started to mix it to the forehand. And you better know that he knows that. He and Brad Stein have been working on the forehand to keep it a little bit shorter.
Max Purcell certainly knows that his doubles partner, Jordan Thompson, came up with a big win earlier against Hubie Hurkacz.
Yeah, that was a massive win for Jordan Thompson.
And the two of them are into the second round of the men's doubles after a first round straight set win over Marcos Gironin, both taking Van de Zandschulp. And now a break point for Tommy Paul.
30-40.
Yeah, and that's what makes Max Purcell's serve so tough to read. You see that toss, it doesn't go very high. He still gets enough leg drive under it, though. Just makes it very hard to read when it's not a high toss.
123 out wide. You said sneaky fast first serve.
Oh, yeah.
There it was. Tommy Paul was on it.
Yeah, his improvisation skills, Tommy, are almost next to none.
Paul.
It's almost a defensive return, but then you see his balance to get back to neutral, ready for anything that comes. And his first step is one of the best in the game.
Deuce.
Tommy Paul looks fresh out there, moving around the ball extremely well, giving himself a lot of space around that forehand to be able to go any direction that he wants.
Deuce.
And there's that short slice from Tommy Paul off the forehand. That's what they've been working on. Doesn't always have to be a topspin return on the forehand. You can go to a chip, keep it low, especially to the net rusher Max Purcell. And then when Tommy has time on the forehand, watch out.
We'll see how much
like throwing darts there.
See how much pressure Max Purcell can handle before he breaks. Fourth chance for Paul. And the battle rages on.
Deuce.
Yeah, Max Purcell's got big power off of both wings. Saw there that backhand approach. Typically, when you get a short ball, you want to go down the line, kind of keep the ball in front of you, but he was able to hit that with so much power that Tommy couldn't catch up.
Advantage, Purcell.
And Max Purcell absorbs 4 break points. Doesn't
Purcell
crumble
is
and
right
holds for
against
2-1 as we get going here on Grandstand. I think something to his box. We'll see if anything comes out of that. You know, I was thinking this is the first time these two are meeting on the ATP Tour, and I'm wondering how much that return game might actually mean as far as just gathering intel from Tommy Paul, seeing what Max Purcell does under duress, where he serves break point down. I imagine you calculate and compute all that stuff as you go along.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you know, I played doubles with Tommy Paul quite a few times, made quarters of the French a few years ago. And one thing about him, you know, he would always tell me, he's like, hey, man, I'm going to get this return down. He makes a ton of returns. Doesn't matter if it's to the forehand or the backhand. So he'll just kind of stay put and use his athleticism to move the ball around off the return.
By the way, nice doubles partner to have when you're pretty sure he's going to make the return.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Left it up, and Purcell knocked it down.
30-15.
Yeah, he's got one of the bigger forehands out there in the game, especially if you sit it up for Max Purcell. Yeah, that's where Max Purcell can get hurt. If you can move him into the forehand, you get him running in that direction, that's where he can miss a few more. But if you get him lined up and he's able to just sit there and hit a forehand, watch out. Got to keep him on the move.
Game ball.
All right, so Tommy Paul cruises through another service game, and it's 2-all.
For a set.
And remember, you can stay connected to the U.S. Open on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and WhatsApp. Join the conversation with the hashtag U.S. Open. Nearly perfect conditions for tennis. Very little wind, cloud cover. You don't have to worry about the sun at all. You don't have to worry about the temperature at all.
Yeah, we haven't seen all the players have really been enjoying today for sure. You know, yesterday, a lot of players are pulling out the ice towels. We had a few cramping issues yesterday as well, but not today.
Had a reversal of fortune out there on the court yesterday.
First serve.
Yeah, the heat rule came into effect.
Very low. Gorilov. Game Purcell.
Well, that's a whole lot easier for Max
Purcell
Purcell.
is
Saved
by
4
3
break
games
points.
to-
Tommy Paul, part of that great contingent of young American players in the top 20. One of those
15
guys
love.
fell by the wayside earlier on day 4 of the 2024 U.S. Open. That'd be Sebastian Korda going down.
Yeah, he had a little bit of an injury, it looked like, to his on his right arm. He had a sleeve on his right arm. It looked like they were tending the elbow a little bit. Hopefully he'll be coming back healthy soon.
That's a heck of a job by Tommy Paul, stepping in, taking time away
Very
from
low.
Purcell and going right behind him.
Yeah, you know, we talked about Tommy Paul as far as being in that contingent, the 26, 27-year-olds, where, you know, he was in the same realm as Tiafoe, Fritz, Opelka. And they always talked about how Tommy Paul was the most talented out of them all. It just took him a little bit longer to get to this point. But the professionalism now from Tommy Paul is exactly where it needs to be ever since he's been with Brad Stein.
Gorgeous for Max Purcell.
Well, that's what
15.
helped Max Purcell win the 2022 Wimbledon Championships with Matt Ebden. Volleys like this. Definitely one of the best doubles players in the world. He also finished as a runner-up 2022 Australian Open with Ebden.
And also a doubles player that enjoys playing singles and wants to excel at singles. Matthew Ebden got thrown into the Olympic singles. Felt like a fish out of water.
Yeah, mainly because Ebden hadn't played a singles match in 2 years, right?
Oh,
So he
yeah.
gets in as an alternate, and that was just part of the Olympic rule. And as he said, he just wasn't ready, but it was a great experience. But he wishes that alternate rule would change.
Let
Give players that actually
Purcell.
have the ranking and ability to play, give them a chance.
Hard to find argument with that.
Yep.
Game Paul.
All right, so Tommy Paul holds for 3-all. Tommy's been cruising through
3
his
games
service
all,
games.
first set.
And Max Purcell, not only, as you mentioned, one of the best doubles players in the world, but he really does have his sights set on a singles career that can rise the charts as well, right?
Yeah, Max Purcell, I mean, look, that's why he and Matt Ebden actually split up in 2022, was because Matt wanted to focus more on doubles leading into 23. Max Purcell wanted to focus on his singles, wasn't sure how much he was going to play doubles. So over the 2023 season, Max Purcell had a mix of different doubles partners, but
15 love.
ultimately now has settled with Jordan Thompson. And boy, what a run they've had. They made the finals of Wimbledon this year. He and Jordan Thompson playing some amazing tennis as a duo.
And judging by his singles results, he actually made the right decision. By the fall of 23, he was at a career high 40 in the world. This year's singles results haven't quite matched it, but he's still in. A direct entry at ranked 97 at the start. As you mentioned, his ranking jumping now in the live rankings because he won his first round match.
Let second serve.
Yeah, and he and Jordan Thompson are respectively. Jordan being 13 in the world in doubles, Max Purcell being 18. But as a team, they're number 7 in the doubles race, trying to make that push for the top 8 teams at the end of the year.
Game Purcell.
All right, all holds through
New ball
7
speeds.
games. Max Purcell leads 4 games to 3
Purcell
in the
leads
first
by a
set. He met a year ago at the US Open, and they're going to do it again on Friday. Tommy Paul serving with new balls at 3-4.
Yeah, I was able to speak with Tommy Paul's fitness trainer, Franco Herrero, earlier today, and just kind of wanted to know their routines day in and day out. And he says, well, anytime before a practice or a warm-up, it's 20 minutes with Tommy's physio, and a 40-minute mobility dynamic warm-up before getting into the hit. So, you know, these professionals take an hour before they actually even hit one tennis ball, you know, so it's not like they get out of the car and say, okay, let's go warm up or let's go practice. No, for Tommy, it's 20 minutes with his physio, Sebastian Kozerin, and then 40 minutes with Franco Herrero doing mobility and work, and then he gets ready to go. Yeah, and you can see the side that Tommy Paul is attacking for Max Purcell, and it's that forehand wing. That's where Max Purcell will make a few more mistakes. He's got a big forehand. He'll hit some winners, but there will be more mistakes off that wing than the backhand side.
Tommy Paul ripping the forehand winner down the line, and it's 4-all.
4-0 first set.
Certainly worth another look.
Yeah, look at the shape over the net from Tommy Paul. Just a little bit of extra jump getting under that one.
Now, you mentioned all the prep that Tommy does just before he gets on the court. 40 minutes of dynamic warm-up. I know everybody has their own routine. Is that normal? Is that a lot for pro tennis players? Where does Tommy's fitness routine sort of fall?
Yeah, pretty much every player is anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, you know, and sometimes that hour, you know, if you don't have a physio with you, maybe it's just 45 minutes of your own dynamic warm-up and getting the body ready. But for Tommy, it is 20 minutes with a physio on the table, getting a little soft tissue work before the mobility work. And then even before going on to the match,
15.
you know, let's say you've had your hour or 30-minute practice, and you'll get some food. And before Tommy came onto this match, he does a 15-minute warm-up as well right before coming onto the court. So just moving the body around, getting moving, but that is 15 minutes.
Pretty much scripted from the physio?
Yes.
Tommy kind of ran himself into trouble in the middle of that point, trying to run around a backhand that took him out of position. And, well, that was pretty much all she wrote for Purcell. He noticed.
Yeah, I like that. I like that play from Tommy, right? Just trying to stay aggressive, trying to look for the forehand. He knows he wants to try to dictate play anytime he can.
All right, Max Purcell holds. Now we've gotten to the deep. He's serving at 56%. He's actually won 75% of his second serve points. So has faced a lot of adversity on serve, but this is scoreboard pressure right now at 4-5.
Yeah, that's only the third point that he's lost on serve, Tommy Paul. But as you said, the scoreboard pressure maybe starts to get to you. Pulled off that forehand a little bit too quickly. Brad Stein wants him trying to dictate throughout these points.
All.
That'll be the first double fault of the match so far for Tommy.
Max Purcell looking at his racket as if to say, how did that do that?
Yeah, that wasn't the racket. That was more just not getting up to the ball. Yeah. Tommy's backhand landed a little bit short. Max Purcell needed to move up. Shot from Max Purcell is a slice, got the ball low, but the issue here for Max Purcell is he didn't follow the ball. He came in and he moved directly to the cross-court pass, and so many players do that. They don't follow the ball all the way in. So if you are passing, the down-the-line pass is a great shot against most players because they don't cover it.
And that stays in. Caught the line.
Yeah, I think Max Purcell is just starting to get a beat on that forehand, realizing that Tommy Paul is coming there quite a lot in key moments. So Max Purcell is saying, you know what? I'm going to start going for the forehand. I'm not just going to move the ball around. I'm going to try to dictate with it. And that barely caught the line.
This USA crowd is really starting to get behind Tommy Paul now on grandstand. This is the most stress he's faced on serve all set. Still hasn't faced a break point. And now he's got one for 5-all.
Deuce.
Yeah, Tommy came into this game without having any double faults, and now 2 just in this game. order there for Tommy Paul. Third ace of the match. Little slider out wide. Absolutely packed house in grandstand.
And Tommy Paul holds. It's 5-all.
And key moments like that when you're
5
feeling the
games all,
stress, the
first set.
first serve is exactly what you need, and he went for sliders on both of those. Ace out wide on the deuce, then slider down the tee. Now the crowd's getting behind him.
Yeah, it looks like Max Purcell's asking about the fans when they can come in. Oh, what a volley from Max Purcell. I thought Tommy Paul did such a great job getting his hips back around.
Yeah, it was a great pass from Tommy Paul, but Max Purcell, again, you know, when you come into the net, you want to look to attack the volleys. You don't want the ball to come to you. You want to keep moving forward with your feet as he does there. Great footwork.
Oh!
Once again, another error off the forehand to Max Purcell.
15-all.
Tommy Paul is going to find that wing anytime he can, and he needs a point.
It would seem like those are the kind of points Tommy Paul would love to play against Max Purcell.
Oh!
Thirty, 15.
Well, there's a double fault for Max Purcell, his first of the match. And talk about scoreboard pressure. How about 5-all, 30-all? Some concerned Aussie.
And a concerned Slovenian there,
Yeah.
Blas.
And you know what? Maybe it shouldn't have been. Throws out the slider for an ace. Fourth ace of the set. Hewitt wiping a little that sweat off his brow. All right.
And that's the type of return there. I love when Tommy Paul looks to take the return early. He's got such a short backswing on that forehand, and that's what they've really improved, is keeping it shorter there.
That's a slick 1-2 from Tommy Paul, and he's got his 5th break chance of this first set.
That just goes to show on the forehand return, you don't always need to hit over it. You can use a slice to get the ball down, especially if a player's coming forward.
Deuce.
offense that we're used to seeing from the American. Kent Kinnear, head of men's tennis with the USTA, is on his feet.
Advantage, Paul.
The defensive skills from Tommy Paul, just making his opponent have to hit one more shot.
The first break of the match. Tommy Paul will serve for the first set after they change hands at 6-5.
Paul is back.
And now he'll look to take the offensive and serve his way to the first set. Speaking of being offensive.
Low 15.
Yeah, and that's where you get in trouble if you don't hit it wide enough to Max Purcell. You don't get it out of his strike zone. He does take big swings on that forehand return, so if he catches it clean, you better watch out. That was one of them.
That is 15.
Insanity on grandstand from Tommy Paul.
I mean, the whole crowd should be up on their feet after that one. I mean, that was insane from Tommy Paul. Just the defensive skills, the recovery.
15.
You almost just knew he was going to win that point once he got that second and third defensive shot back. And now he's got 2 set points.
Jimmy Connors once said this is what they came for. Tommy Paul's giving it to him. And he takes the first set from Max Purcell, 7-5. Max Purcell, and it's the Australian who will serve to open up set number 2.
Oh!
Yeah, you wonder now if Max Purcell is going to start to pressure a little bit, right? And start to press, maybe go for smaller targets, because Tommy Paul has been all over this court, defending, getting one more ball back in play. And those 2 misses right there in this game has just been a testament to how the quickness of Tommy Paul, and Max Purcell just being a little frustrated with feeling like he played very good tennis in that first set, but Tommy Paul just found a way to get through it. This is where he's got to get right back to the drawing board, Max Purcell.
Well, really fast start for Tommy Paul here.
Love
He finished the first set on a high note, and he seems to have taken that momentum right into this first game of the second set. Max Purcell better watch out or he's going to find himself in a big hole. And a break at love for Tommy Paul.
First game, second set.
And that's how you solidify winning that first set, playing the amazing tennis that Tommy Paul did at the very end first set. And now he's up an early break.
Oh.
Well, now it's time for Max Purcell to show off a little bit of his own defensive prowess.
Yeah, Max Purcell's got some very good hand skills himself, as we talked about being such a great doubles player, having the quick hands, fast wrist.
$15.
Fifth ace of the match for Tommy Paul.
That Purcell hardly even made a move after that return. He kind of knew he was in bad shape, floating it into the center of the court. Maybe he was hoping that Tommy might put it back on him. And there's the consolidation of the break that Tommy Paul got in the opening game of this set. It's 2-love.
Yeah, and we know how big Tommy Paul hits the forehand, especially when he has time. But now when he's stepping into the court on the backhand and giving that one a little extra juice as well, that just helps him get in. As we look at Brad Stein and also one of his coaches, Hugo Armando, is based in Boca Del Rey Beach area. Hugo helps Tommy when he's in Florida, and Brad Stein is not available and is at home. You feel like Tommy Paul's just flying right now. He's seeing the ball like a basketball, moving all over the court. He's just taking so much time away from Max Purcell right now. Max Purcell's on the defense.
Tommy Paul is continuing to strengthen his grip on this match. He's put Purcell under great duress, breaking him in the opening game of this set, and now 2 straight points for love 30. Guys are hitting lines all over the place. Every inch of the court being used.
Yeah, Max Purcell is almost like, okay, what do I have to do to win a point?
Love 40.
He's hitting skyhook overheads, but Tommy Paul is just finding all the open spots in the court. Open space tennis.
I imagine there were guys in juniors that thought, how do I win a point against this guy? He gets everything.
Yeah, he just suffocates you with his speed, does Tommy Paul.
Oh, that caught the line.
30-40.
And that's 2 break points saved from Max Purcell. It feels a little bit like a second break might be all Tommy Paul needs here in the second set. And he's got another chance to get it right here.
Oh.
Tommy Paul racing to a 3-love lead in the second. Hasn't allowed Max Purcell much joy at all here in set number 2.
Oh.
And it continues.
15 love.
It's just amazing how Tommy Paul sliding into this forehand and just firing it down the line. Still staying so close to the baseline, taking time away from Max Purcell. That's why he wasn't able to get back inside the middle of the court.
Well, right now, Tommy Paul can't put a foot wrong.
Yeah, you know, if you're Max Purcell right now, you almost have to play a bit more first strike tennis. You can't let Tommy Paul get into the rallies, because by the second or third ball, that's when he's going for the big shots, and then he's able to kind of bring Max Purcell in, and he's just kind of playing with him at the moment. Winner after winner from TP.
40 love.
This is a clinic.
Forty 15.
Well, I'm texting with Brad Stein right now, and I'm saying, what are your thoughts on this match? He said, well, I'm loving it right now. But not only did he say that, he said he did his first ever comms on a match with you, Russ. It was Zach Svida versus Paolo Lorenzi, 5 sets. What do you remember about that?
I remember Zach was up and ran out of gas is what happened. All right, let me just get to this here. USOpen.org. That's your online home for point-by-point live scoring, highlights, real-time stats, and draws. That's the official tournament site, USOpen.org. I remember it well because I got to sit next to Brad Stein and chop it up about tennis for like 4.5 hours. And I learned so much sitting next to him.
He's an encyclopedia of tennis.
Totally.
Brad Stein.
Love 15.
Yeah, I think that's what Max Purcell is realizing he's going to have to do, is go for more winners early on in the rally, not get stuck in trying to extend it.
And as well as he volleys, he hasn't had a whole lot of success recently moving forward. Started well. Tommy sort of has picked up on it, it seems. Tommy played some good D, but Max moved forward well. Actually, Nick, you're the guy that I would love to ask this question about, because we're watching a great doubles player play a very high-level singles match, but finding it hard to come in and finish points at the net. The geometry is so much different. How hard is it for a guy who's used to volleying on a doubles court to change the way you think about volleying? Because singles it's not the same. Some magic on the run.
I mean, Tommy Paul is putting the ball on a dime at will right now. Tennis is about finding the open space in the court, and that's exactly what he has been doing throughout the course of this second set.
I think he found the postage stamp of ocean space there. Goodness.
You know, obviously in singles you have more court to volley into, but it's more about also just, whether it's singles or doubles, following the ball. You know, we see players hit an approach shot down the line, but then kind of veer towards the middle of the court and then leave it down the line open. So you got to follow the ball in, and, you know, I feel like it's a little bit easier maybe to volley in singles just because you do have the whole court, whereas in doubles you have to get it past the player.
That was a good second serve that skidded off the back of the line.
Yeah, and you know, he saw Tommy Paul creeping inside the baseline on that second serve, and then said, okay, I'm going to go a little bit bigger into your body, see if you can get around this ball, and Tommy Paul wasn't able to do it. See Max Purcell trying to pump himself up here and saying, hey, let's just get this hold here, put the balls back on Tommy Paul's racket.
His first serve percentage has dropped precipitously in the second set. No surprise that Tommy's found a little more joy on the Purcell serve.
Yeah, his first serve percentage right now for Max Purcell, 38% in this set. Not what you want.
No, and he's winning less than 40% off his first and second serve.
Yeah, and sometimes you might get away with that maybe against a different opponent, but not against a player like Tommy Paul, who returns so well. If you're not making first serves, you're really going to struggle on your second, and he's only winning 27% of his second serve points, Purcell.
Yes. Advantage Paul.
Just the second double fall to this match for Max Purcell. And Tommy Paul has a chance to really put this second set to bed. And another double. And it's second set, not so much. Tommy Paul has kept his level at a superior mark. Max Purcell hasn't been able to hang in this set.
Yeah, Tommy Paul's been playing pretty much flawless tennis in this second set. Hasn't put a foot wrong and putting the ball on a dime. I know that's one thing that Bradstein was working on with Tommy Paul over the course of the preseason was the backhand slice, using that slice a little bit more to keep the ball low to then set up the forehand. We know how well Tommy Paul can maneuver the two-hand backhand around, but using the slice just varies up the discipline.
We aren't even at the 25-minute mark of set number 2. Tommy Paul is reading from the entire menu now, and he's got set points. Well, the only thing better than a New York bagel is a New Jersey bagel. You know. And Tommy Paul, born in the Garden State, a set away for the third round of the 2024 U.S. Open. Thing to do with the level that man. Tommy Paul, the United States, 27 years of age, ranked 14th in the world, seeded 14th here at the Open.
Third set.
He played a flawless set of tennis. Took it 6-love in the second. Here's the start of the third.
love. Love. Ferry 15.
Tommy Paul's been doing a number on the Max Purcell second serve. What was Max doing so well in the first set that was winning him points that he's not been able to do since then?
Well, in the first set, Tommy Paul was kind of letting Max Purcell settle into ground stroke rallies. Now Tommy Paul is taking advantage of the first or second ball and playing again more first strike, second strike tennis and not letting Max Purcell breathe. So for Max Purcell, he's the one who needs to try to change that by playing that first strike tennis.
That is 9 games in a row now for Tommy
First
Paul.
game, third set.
And Max Purcell is calling it a day. What just happened there?
Ladies and
Not sure
gentlemen,
what
Mr.
happened there
Purcell is
because Max
forced to retire
Purcell
due to
did not
injury.
look like he was hurt.
Paul wins
If
7-5,
anything, Tommy
6
Paul
love.
was just playing
1 love
amazing tennis
retirement.
and not letting Max Purcell breathe.
Yeah, and the expression on the fan's face behind the court tells the story. What?
I think even Tommy Paul was surprised, as if to say, wait a second, what's going on here? You were moving fine, feeling